these are all inside jobs, right? Believe me, if you are worried about security, the weakest point is the man, the person, the human that is in the chain. Look at the human. And it's an inside job most of the time, right? So look at it with a really objective, assessment, and per se, nothing is secure, right? And if I'm saying that you've got to take the first step, right? And the first step is to innovate, to enable, right? And what are we enabling? We are enabling speed, reach, and agility. But for a lot of us, actually sometimes taking the first step is very difficult, right? And what could be the inhibitor? We are people of superlatives, right? We want everything good, fast, and cheap. Is it possible? Good, fast, and cheap, right? Let me take you through a couple of equations, right? You can be good and fast, right? Can you be cheap? No, right? You can be good and cheap. Can you be fast? No. You can be cheap and fast. Then are you good? Also cannot. Actually, it is possible to be good, cheap, and fast, but you must deploy a very, very quantum leap in thinking, what we call blue ocean strategy. All right? I mean, look at Apple, Apple, right? Are they fast? You want an app today, you go to the app store, you find the app, you get the app. Is that fast? I think they're fast. Are they cheap? No? My God, if I pay $2 and $3 or $5 and $10, that's cheap for me. Oh, no, of course. That is nowadays you buy the printer, you buy the ink, the printer is free, that kind of approach, right? Yeah, but I'm talking about the app, right? The app store, right? They're fast, they're cheap, are they good? Yeah, maybe reasonably good. I'm quite happy. So they come, in my view, they come nearest to being good, fast, and cheap. But for a lot of us, usually trying to be all three at the same time is very radical. It's blue ocean strategy. You got to dig that up and understand what it is. Okay, so what's the moral of the story here? Right? If you have to innovate, meaning you have to spend money, right? You got to be realizing that if cost is your overriding concern, right? You will never be good and fast. Right? So that's the number one inhibitor, something to think about. And since we're at it, right, the other showstopper usually for most of us, right, is the confidence of not succeeding, right? I buy this, I try that, and will I succeed or not, right? I like to put it a bit more bluntly. It's called the fear of failure, right? So we've got all this saying like, oh, don't worry about failure. We learn from our mistakes, we improve, right? Well, that is good, because if you're into design thinking, this is one of the concepts behind thinking. Take failure out of your vocabulary. It doesn't exist, right? Because failure is feedback. If you want to do something, you have done your due diligence, right? You've done all your planning, and you execute. And the result is not as what you expected. That is a feedback. That is not a failure. That is a feedback, meaning something there you didn't tweak right. Something there, little minor component you overlook. So that's a feedback to you. Make it right. Solve that missing component. That's your feedback to you. Right? And what about feedbacks like this, by the way, I realize it's easy for me to say, but it can be expensive. Right? It can be expensive. It can be fatal. Right? So here's another concept in design thinking. You have to fail. You must fail, because you don't fail, you don't get feedback. If you don't get feedback, how do you make a perfect product? So you must fail. But avoid fatality, avoid costly expenses, because you need to fail fast and fail early. Right? So you're into this cloud computing experiment, you're not sure whether it worked for you. Do all your due diligence, you plan, you tried it, right? You know I got to roll something out in 6 months' time. I better learn to fail fast and early in the first 1 or 2 months. right? If I don't do all this failing and getting the feedback and doing it early and fast, right? When I roll out something and then it's live and running, right? And then comes the peak season, extreme demand on my goods and services, my system crash. That is fatal. That can be fatal, right? So